Hello, everyone. I'm Carlton T. Clay, and welcome to WJBF Digital. It is a privilege and an honor to be here today interviewing actress, singer, philanthropist, and I like to call her legend. We are here with
Oh,
Miss Dawnn Lewis. Miss Dawnn Lewis, how are you doing today?
I am blessed, Carl. How are you today? You
I'm,
look very handsome.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us here on WJBF Digital. We definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your day to talk with us on this day.
My pleasure. Happy to be here.
Awesome. Well, let's get into your career. You have a bountiful career. Now, what inspires you to get into acting and to singing?
Well, I am one of four. I have three brothers. I'm the only girl. And when I was coming up, it was very, very common to have movies, musical movies that would come on every year, either with Judy Garland or Lena Horne or the Nicholas brothers or Bing Crosby, Bob Hope, Danny Kaye. And I would love watching those movies and learning the lyrics, doing the dances in my living room. So I started singing at four, acting at seven, the dancing at seven. My mom finally enrolled me in dance class so that I could have something of my very own to do away from my brothers. And I started acting at 11. So this has been in my spirit as a performer ever since I was a very, very small child.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, we got to get into it. We have to talk about the iconic show, A Different World, which premiered in
Okay.
1987, and it's been 30
Hmm.
years since the series finale. Now,
Yeah.
did you think like this show, like when you first got on, did you think this show would have a big impact that it has on the culture today?
Well, while we were on, it was clear that the show was popular. When we first started, we were the spinoff of the Cosby Show. Cosby was the number one rated show on television. Then our show came on, and we would go back and forth week after week between us and Cosby, who was number one. And then Roseanne came on the scene. So it was one, two, three, three, two, one. We would always flip. So we knew it was popular at the time. We knew we were speaking to an audience that felt unheard, that felt unseen, and that wasn't just people of color, because our shows seemed to transcend generations because there was someone for everyone on our show. The seasoned adults, we had Mr. Gaines, we had Glenn Turman, and then for the young up and coming, the rich, the not rich, the educated, the not edge educated, white, black, Latino, everybody saw themselves in our show and in our stories. So we knew it was popular at the time. Who knew that 30 plus years later, the show would still be as relevant? The show would still touch as many people. There hasn't been one day of 1 week of 1 month of 1 year that that show has not been on television. So there's absolutely no way to foresee that. I'm incredibly humbled by it, grateful for the opportunity, all the doors that it opened. It put me on a much bigger scale in the world of awareness, in the world of music. I've been a long time recording artist, writer, session singer for so many years. And then I got the opportunity to write the theme song for A Different World, and to hear people who weren't even born in the same decade as that show, knowing all of the words, making their own videos, choreographing dance routines to those words, which meant so much to me at the time, telling my own story. 16 years old when I went to college.
Mm.
And all I had with me was what my parents taught me: how to fend for myself, how to rely on myself, how to trust myself, how to believe in myself. And born and raised in Brooklyn, New York, by a Guyanese mom, going to school in Miami, Florida at 16 years old on my own. So yeah, those words meant a lot to me. So to see them transcend the way that they have, there's no way to predict that. And I couldn't be more humbled at all.
Well, thank you so much for breaking it down because I didn't know about like that was your personal story, the song. So
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And I love I think what we love about a different world, like I said again, it transcends the topics that you guys touched on back then. Is still relevant today in
Right.
2023. So I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
beauty of the show. So you guys are definitely you guys are legends. So we definitely
Thank
appreciate
you.
you so much. Now we are in the age of reboots and reimaginations. Do you think A Different World could be rebooted or reimagined, or if so, would you be interested in being a part of it?
That's Could it be? Absolutely. Would I be interested in being a part of it? Absolutely. Is that something that is likely to happen? Probably not.
Mm.
And that's got more to do with logistics and ownership and all those kinds of things than it does with anyone's desire or thinking whether or not this is something that is of value or that whether or not folks would watch it. That really isn't the issue. I don't think it ever has been the issue. So yeah, that's goes into areas that's far out of any of our control.
Absolutely understandable. Now, you have been on a slew of television shows and movies, hanging with Mr. Cooper, the Jamie Foxx show, Proof Point, which is my favorite Disney Channel movie. I love that movie so much.
Thank
Girlfriends,
you.
Let It Shine, my other favorite show, One Tree Hill, The Boys.
Yes.
Everything. You've done so much. What do you accredit to your success and your longevity in the business?
Um, Grace of God, first and foremost. I'm grateful that at a very early age, I was taught you never really arrive. And there's always something more to learn. There's always something more as a performer for you to grow and to explore and to really invest in character and integrity and how you come to work and whether or not you're someone that can deliver and can be depended on. While that show was my first big series, to your point, I've been blessed to go forward and do so many other series. I was just added to the cast of the show Young Rock with Dwayne Johnson. I spent all of season 3 there doing that with him. Before that, did 911. I was added to the cast of Grey's Anatomy near the end of last season. I had a recurring role. Shows like Major Crimes. I was only supposed to do one episode, and the producers liked my chemistry with the rest of the cast so much that they added me to the show. What was supposed to be one episode turned out to be 4.5 seasons until the show ended. Over the years, I've done probably close to 40 different animated series and movies. The animated series I'm doing now, a couple of them. One is Star Trek Lower Decks. I play Captain Carol Freeman. In Karma's World, I play Ms. Washington. In Futurama, I'm La Barbara. In Housebroken, I'm one of the dogs that's in the house. I'm in Duncanville. I do voices for The Simpsons. I'm Miss Bernice Hibbert. And recently, they did a special episode of The Simpsons where I played a woman that one of the main characters, Carl, has a crush on. Her name is Naima. And from what I understand, I'm being submitted for Emmy consideration for that episode, as well as I've been submitted for Emmy consideration for a movie I did that got released this past Christmas called Blackjack Christmas. And we're waiting to see what happens with Young Rock as well. So that would be, there's no way to plan that. I wouldn't even dare to ask for that, to be submitted and potentially nominated in 3 completely different Emmy categories in the same year. That's, yeah.
That's awesome. I just want to say congratulations in advance. So congratulations to you.
Thank you. I received that.
Yes, yes. Now, your faith plays a big part in your career. Can you
Yes.
please elaborate on that for us?
Well, grace of God, I was raised in a very traditionally religious family. Only a very, very, very small handful actually had faith in what I do for a living as a performer. The rest of the family really believed that the entertainment industry was one rife with sin and the devil and temptation, but that's the world, that's life. My mom never failed to remind me that the only reason I'm able to do what I do is by the grace of God. Mm-hmm. That any gift I have was given to me by the grace of God, and be willing and ready to use it to His glory, and which is what I tried to do. And my walk with the Lord really helps me keep an even keel and an even head in this industry that is filled with so many highs, so many lows. It's very easy to become very discouraged or very full of yourself at any given moment. But with God as a constant, it helps me keep a level head and keep pressing forward.
Thank you for that. Thank you so much. Now let's talk about something that's dear and dear to your heart. You are the founder and president of A New Day Foundation, which offers hope and empowerment. Can you tell us a little bit about your foundation, and just tell us why is this so dear to you?
Well, when I was young, as I mentioned, there were some people who were for me, and there's always going to be people against you. So even at an early age, I was bullied, all kinds of things in my environment. So I was very grateful to my teachers, to those that were in my village who helped me be encouraged, who helped me find positivity. So I got in the habit of when I graduated elementary school, I would go back to visit my teachers and say thank you and give them update reports. So that became my habit. High school, college, out of college, I was doing off Broadway shows, doing a Broadway tour. That was my habit. Go back, speak to the teachers, speak to the kids, and answer their questions about what it was like when I was in high school or when I was in junior high, and get them encouraged and teach them not to bully. But when I did a different world, when that started, I just continued in my habit and went back to school. But now this time I'm Jalisa and everybody's over the moon. They had lots of questions. So I learned at that point that this was not about me feeling good. This was about actually possessing something that could make a difference to someone else in their life, particularly a young person. So I've been doing that work now for more than 40 years. But 7 years ago, I formed a formal nonprofit organization called the A New Day Foundation, which is a play on my name, Dawnn. But also, it is our mission to be your new day of opportunity towards your best self. That where you were yesterday is not where you end up today, or nor where you have to be tomorrow. So we provide programmatic services for underserved youth and communities across the country and abroad, as far away as Guyana, where my family is from, and India. We just supported a school in Costa Rica with school supplies. We have programs for teen girls 13 to 19 called Sisters Hang Out, teen boys 13 to 19 called Mentors. And those programs go throughout the year. And then we have an annual conference where we focus on financial literacy and technology. That'll be coming up this June here in Los Angeles.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for your service and what you're doing for the community.
My pleasure.
That's beautiful. Now, if people want to learn more, or if they want to potentially donate to your foundation, how can they do so?
Please, by all means, because everything we do free of charge to our participants. So all the money we raise goes to pay for workshop fees, entry fees, transportation, scholarships. At the conference, we give out 6 to 12 scholarships of $2,000 each and a new computer. So all of that's what your donation goes to support. So please visit our website at www.anewdayfoundation.net. It's a secure site. You can make donations right there, or you can mail them to us. The information for our mailing address is there on the page as well. But again, that's www.anewdayfoundation.net.
Nice.
If you see my face on the website, you know you're in the right place.
Thank you so much for that. Final question for you. What advice would you give someone who wants to get into acting or get into the entertainment business?
Oh, honestly, truth, don't do it.
Uh-oh.
It's more than a notion. This industry is not for the faint of heart. The advent of the internet with TikToks, videos, selfies, all of that, it's very easy, very quick for people to be seen, to feel, I can do this. But making a 30-second TikTok is not the same as showing up on a Broadway stage for 4 hours a night, 8 shows a week. It's not the same as the grind of being on a film set or a TV set. So, not to be flippant, it's not for the faint of heart. And the people who do it well make it look easy. And it's anything but easy. And there are so many different lanes in the entertainment industry, in front of the camera, behind the camera. So, all that to say, if after hearing me say all of that, you still feel, but this is in my spirit, this is in my passion, this is part of why I breathe, then, and only then, I would say maybe you have the right spirit and the right mindset to show up and do the work and endure the grind and be prepared to be told no about 90% more than you will ever be told yes, and be able to be okay with that and still find a way to press through and still find a way to be a level-headed human being, someone that someone wants to work with, wants to spend time with. Because more often than not, when you're working on any project, You are with people for hours and hours and hours, day after day after day. That becomes your world, that becomes your environment. And so you want to be someone that people want to be around, or willing to be around, where your work makes their work better. And you're willing to learn that their work makes your work better. That's a lot of self checking. And a lot of people aren't necessarily prepared to do that. But if this industry is what you want to do, then by all means, if you're ready to put on that armor, come on and let's roll.
Thank you so much for that wisdom. We definitely appreciate your honest words. We appreciate you. Once again, we just want to celebrate you, give you your flowers. Thank you so much for everything you've done in this industry and in this community and in this culture in the world. Thank you so much.
Carl, it truly is my pleasure and my blessing to do so. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to share parts of my story, and just continued blessings to you too. You do a fantastic job.
Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us here on WJBF Digital. I'm Carlton T. Clay.